Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. High elves, dark elves, how we doing? Welcome to part one of a two-part series where today we're going to be talking about the yin, and the next one we're going to be talking about the yang. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 things I love about Raid Shadow Legends, and I guess you can maybe make a safe assumption that the next video is going to be about the top 10 things I hate about Raid Shadow Legends. Also be an interesting YouTube experiment. Which video gets more attention, the negative side of Raid or the positive side of Raid? Let's start with the positive stuff, and I'm going to get right into it. The number one thing right away that I love about Raid are the free characters that are given away. Maybe like mine. There's a link down below, a QR code up above. If you're a new player, people say I have one of the best giveaway codes out there. You're going to get 4 champions, a legendary right away when you start, Ugo at level 10, Tagoat at level 20, and Deacon Armstrong at level 40. Some of the best champions in this game to start your account right away from the get-go. And speaking of the get-go, here's what I want to talk about first are the free champions. Not just my link, of course, but I'm coming from a perspective of playing a lot of these big hero collectors. You know, Raid Shadow Legends more hardcore. Recently, I've been playing Raid for over a year hardcore. You know, I dibbled and dabbled in it over the past couple years since 2019, but never super hardcore. So I started up a new account over a year ago now. Fell in love with Raid Shadow Legends, so I feel like I'm in a good spot where I can kind of talk about things I love and hate about Raid Shadow Legends. We're going to talk about you another day. Don't worry, baby. We'll get to you another day. But playing all these games and seeing the grass on the other side, not kind of being stuck in kind of like an echo chamber of just one game. One thing I greatly appreciate about Raid, it's kind of these first few points are kind of all work into one another. But one thing I do love are the free champions they give away, whether new links down below. Like, as we all know, one of the biggest things about Raid Shadow Legends, if you're coming in as a new player, always look for a giveaway code, whether mine, someone else's, whatever the case might be. You don't want to just start this game out vanilla. You're missing out on so many free champions. And then, of course, there's those promo codes right away for new players. You know, whether it's things like Monkey King or the Thulan Foulbeard, the Tahanarak, amazing legendary quality characters that they just give out right away. So I feel like coming in as a new player, you know, because when you play these hero collector games as a new player, whether it's Strikeforce, Galaxy, or Raid, one of the biggest things is, you know, you take a look at all the champions, you're like, oh my god, there's how many champions? There's 5 million. I can't keep up with all that. I think Raid, out of all these games that I've played, feel like does the best job to bring in new players. And of course, beyond that, even veteran people that have been around, we get free characters too. On top of, like, let's just, for example, go to the Altar of Souls. I got a few souls that are just kind of waiting for some love. Like, we got Skeletor for free, right? You got Lemonisi for free. You know, Artur was recently free on top of that. And then, of course, we have, you know, Ninja was free at one point. That's when I started up my new account. I got Ninja right away. He's been banger in my account. So we get a lot of free champions on top of it. So it feels like coming into this game, it makes it feel like that you can enjoy this game free to play, right? You don't need to buy all the champions. Of course, you buy, you're gonna get more champions, but I feel like you can build a nice arsenal of legendary champs from giveaway codes and solid epics and the promo codes and the free login stuff. Huge fan of that. You know, games like Galaxy used to do stuff like that. Like, they used to give away like Magma Trooper, you know, TIE Fighter Pilot for free basically, and then they quickly pivoted where every new character you had to pay for them. And it's a little disappointing. It feels good. I think Raid can afford to do it because, well, number one, they don't have a big IP to pay like Marvel or Star Wars. And they pump out so many characters. So what do they pump out? Like, I swear, like 20 characters every like 2-3 months or something like that. So they can probably afford to throw a bone to us once up. But that's something I do absolutely love. Free characters that they're always pumping out in one way or another. Second thing I love about Raid Shadow Legends, we're talking about characters. You're gonna have to kind of like hold with me for a second, because this is also I'm gonna spoil it. Fall into the things I hate about Raid. I like how the character acquisition structure is different than games like, for example, you know, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Let me explain what I mean if you haven't played games like Star Wars Galaxy or Marvel Strike Force. Those two games are kind of in a tough spot because they require nesting dolls. You got to get, let's say, 20 characters together to get this one legendary, right? Oh, shoot, let me actually, before I forget, free crystals. I don't want to miss out on that. I keep missing this stupid pop-up here. Hell yeah, we got 300 crystals here. Anyways, getting back on target here. You basically need to get all these legendaries if you want to kind of get to the end game, mid game. And it's a big process to go through. I mean, let's say, for example, look at Ahsoka Tano. You need to get all these characters just to get that one. And in some situations, you need to get, let's take, for example, Lord Vader. you need to get all the characters right. But even so, some characters have a nesting doll in it of themselves. So for example, somewhere in here, yeah, General Anakin Skywalker, he's got nesting dolls as well. So I'm kind of just running through this, assuming you maybe never played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, where, you know, look, General Anakin Skywalker, he's got a nesting doll of himself where he needs a bunch of characters, and funny enough, he also has another legendary that has a nesting doll. She requires a bunch of other stuff. So to get like one character, it could be like 20, 30 characters that you got to gear. And that is a long, long process just to kind of get like a functioning team that's top tier. In Raid Shadow Legends, kind of bringing it back to this game, what makes this game so special, I think, and I feel like in a way more new player friendly, because Galaxy Heroes, let's imagine this, it's a big lake and it keeps getting, or an ocean, it keeps getting bigger and bigger and deeper and deeper, and then you throw a new player in there, they're like, whoa, I'm gonna sink, there's too much, it's overwhelming. Raid Shadow Legends, it feels like is this the best way to explain it? It feels like it's a long stream. You know, it's a stream of water, and when you come in, you're coming in at a different point of time, but all you gotta do is you just gotta hop in the stream and you're gonna start going down this lazy river and start building up your roster, and you really only need a couple of good legendaries and epics to start taking on the vast variety of content that this game has to offer. So where Galaxy Heroes, you got to build 20, 30 characters to get like a big team. You only need maybe like, you know, one or two solid teams that can handle a majority of the stuff that you do. Now, of course, every dungeon's got a trick, a gimmick, and, you know, you're going to need like swap out some characters here and there and whatnot. And of course, faction wars, you need a really big roster, but like the core stuff, especially doing the clan boss, well, not Doom Tower, but Doom Tower 2, you just kind of like one good team for the most part, you know, you kind of blitz your way through it. Like even the clan boss, you know, get a few good characters, boom, there are so many, especially if you're using all those new player codes and promo codes and the free login champions. I like it a lot more than playing Galaxy Heroes, where in some situations, it's weird to say, it takes like 2-4 years just to be able to kind of engage with that mid-end game content, where in Raid, build up a few champions, you're kind of good to go. And of course, you want to get more champions to build that collection and get bigger scores and whatnot. I like that. But we're going to come back to the things I hate about Raid a little bit down there, because there is a downside to this as well. And the other thing, speaking of characters, I want to keep kind of going on this. There's two more things about the characters I want to kind of discuss here. And this is something that is important. You know, even though Raid came out in 2019, and of course there's newer Hero Collector games that are coming out as of recently, Raid Shadow Legends pushed the boundary on what the game could look like of this genre. Whereas when you play Galaxy of Heroes, it looks like it's running on a potato. Like we're talking 2 polygons. It looks like it was meant to be on a PlayStation 2. Whereas Raid, they pushed the genre forward, making this enticing for a wider audience. Funny enough, this game, I believe, has a bigger net that they can cast out there than a game like Galaxy Heroes, which looks a little bit rough around the edges. It's a game that was probably starting to be developed in 2012, 2013, came out in 2015. So it was a different era of mobile gaming. But besides just like the graphical quality of this game, each character, like there, even some of the rares and common and uncommon, they look pretty darn cool. One of the biggest things coming to Raid, like every character looks so cool. It's like, you gotta be good. Even the bad characters look really darn cool. And I love it, especially when they do these kind of like interesting plugs. Like, you know, let's say, for example, Alice in Wonderland. They do like their own cool Raid Shadow Legends twist on it. And they do like, they kind of are trying to be maybe like the Fortnite of mobile games, where they're able to do like these cool crossovers. Like, for example, we had He-Man. Of course, there were Skeletor, as I showed a moment ago, but I love the art style that this game has as well. So it's important, because when you're playing a game, you want to collect cool characters, right? And this game, I mean, even Marvel Strike Force is better than Galaxy Heroes from a visual perspective, but even that game, it feels like it's showing its age. Raid Shadow Legends, I still feel like it's still up there in terms of one of the best looking hero collectors out there. And then one more thing about the characters I want to talk about. It's important because what is it? It's a hero collector game, so obviously you need to enjoy the hero aspect of it all. What I really do like about this game as well, and if you don't play Galaxy Heroes and Marvel Strike Force, Galaxy Heroes especially, it might be hard to appreciate this. Even more so, the theory crafting this game is next level. Galaxy of Heroes used to be like this, where you could just put together a bunch of random characters, really lean into the theory crafting, boom. You're creative, you're thinking outside the box, you're being creative. Unfortunately, Galaxy of Heroes, in some ways you could say fortunate, it's simplified the team building process. It's not my cup of tea, but generally in Galaxy of Heroes, all the teams are cookie cutter and the kits are overly designed where, let's say this guy, he's a clone trooper. He doesn't work with clone troopers though. It's a very specific team that he works with. Whereas in Raid Shadow Legends, it's actually more of an oddity if a character's only meant to be in one spot. Like, of course we have those faction unity champions. Like I have one of them. I got Blade Corsair Kaldor. Like, yeah, he's mostly meant to be used with Sylvan Watch, but you can still use him outside of it. In Galaxy of Heroes, Marvel Strike Force thing to an extent as well. They're a lot more cookie cutter, where Jedi have to be a Jedi team. The Empire has to be an Empire team, and the Pirates got to be a Pirate team. They don't really give you much plug and play option like they used to in the past. It was a breath of fresh air coming to Raid, getting deep into the weeds, and like, whoa, I have all these cool combos. I think that's one of the fun things about Raid too, where everyone does the same thing in Galaxy of Heroes, in Grand Arena, the Territory Wars, even the Raid stuff. Everyone does the same thing. It's so cool about this game. Everyone's got a different trick that they figure out to take on things like the clan boss, the dungeons and whatnot. It makes it fun. Let me put it this way. It's not as fun starting up a new account in Galaxies because you're just doing the same thing over again. But if I started a new account today for Raid, my roster would look so much different, and it would force me to kind of basically relearn the game, take it from a different perspective. It's I don't know, it's kind of like almost like starting up a new Pokemon game and you just decided to go with a full different roster going into it. It's a lot more fun that way, in my opinion. So anyways, I love that, the theory crafting and starting up a new account. Like my first account that I created has a vastly different roster. It has some characters legendaries that I don't even have still, and I've been playing and spending a couple of grandma's dollars here and there. Anyways, let's move on. I want to talk about some of the events, PvE, PvP stuff now. And I want to talk about the tournaments, events, and more specifically, the monthly fusions and the fragment events on tap. Like right now, we have ourselves this dog, Throat Ripper, Crocod, whatever his name is. Two things I like about these. Unlike Galaxy of Heroes, Strike Force, where you're kind of penalized if you don't get the new legendary right away. Like they're going to create a bunch of limited time events that need these characters, give them incredible amounts of power for a few months to reward the people that spend it, and then the power will drop off once the free-to-play people get it down the road. In Raid, you can kind of just like skip a few legendaries and be like, yeah, whatever, no big deal. I think that's crazy too. Like I basically started the game, what is it, 5-6 years late, something like that, right? And more like 5 years late into it. And I feel like I'm not behind, right? And I've missed so many fusions and whatnot. Again, kind of going into that lazy river terminology versus just dropping you inside of a big ocean. You better figure out how to swim to the bottom. I think that's one thing nice about this. You can make the decision to skip out on legendaries and, not really feel like you're going to fall behind. I think that kind of a side point here, with that in mind, in Galaxies, if you take a break, you are so far behind. In Raid Charlotte, I feel like if I took a break, I could basically kind of pick up where I left off and just, not feel like I fell too far behind. Yeah, I missed a few fusions. Who cares? I got a roster full of good champions that I'm ready to rock and roll with. The second thing I do, like, I really do enjoy, even if I do decide to skip out on something, I enjoy going for the legends. This feels a lot more fun than being given a list of stuff that I need to upgrade for a new legendary in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, where they're like, all right, here's the list. Make sure you get it to this gear requirement, then you can have it. I enjoy doing all the events, and at the end of it all in 2 weeks, I get a legendary character. It feels less stressful as well. So I love that you can skip the legendary, and if you go for the legendary, it feels, I don't know, more satisfying, I guess, that you're going to figure it out with your own roster, do all these events, and you get at the end of it. And, it's just, again, I want to emphasize, it's so nice that if you want to skip, you can skip out it, and all's going to be good. Next thing I want to talk about, this is incredibly important. Mind open. I wish I could get everyone in Galaxies to play Raid just to appreciate things that, Galaxy Heroes is slacking on. And one of those things is keeping old raids relevant. Not Raid, but Raid, the clan bosses. I call these the raid bosses. In Galaxy Heroes, we had, the Rancor raid, for example, the AAT raid, the Sith Triumvirate raid. The problem with that, though, the way they designed the raids in Galaxy Heroes, they basically make it all these old raids completely obsolete. Now they're just like, all right, we're going to create this new raid, and it's really not a raid. It's just like clearing a few waves of stuff, and they make you play it for a year, and they're like, all right, we're scrapping it, no longer relevant. We're going to create another limited time event. By the way, needs all these new characters that we're releasing. I love that Raid Shadow Legends keeps the old raids or clan bosses relevant, and not even just that. It's basically pivotal that you still have it. Like the Demon Lord was the first clan boss that came out. To this day, it is so incredible. For me, I find this to be more important than Hydra Chimera because it's my main source of getting, shards, books. So it's not like, it's like old gear. It's like, I don't need that. Everyone always needs sacred shards, books to upgrade your champions. So the old raids are still relevant. Still provides a decent amount of difficulty for even mid-game. You know, it's fun for end-game players too. And then when you remaster it, you can just go ahead and throw it on auto. I got it on auto myself right now. So I love that they keep these relevant. You know, even though I already have Mithrala. Oh gosh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. I'm still working on Embers, almost there. These are still very much relevant. They have important gear, you know, artifacts for the relics or whatever. And the other thing I want to bring up here too, Raid has an exclusive character tied to each of these raids. Where Galaxy of Heroes, they stopped doing that. We started that way. They had exclusive characters. That was the fun part. And they took it away. So again, I appreciate Raid sticking to it. They're showing it how it should be done. At the end of the day, exclusive characters that everyone wants to get and keeping the raids irrelevant on top of that. Now, this also kind of feeds into the other stuff too. In general, the PvE content. I actually feel like this game is more PvE heavy than PvP heavy compared to Strikeforce and Galaxy of Heroes. Pros and cons to that. We might bring this up in another point down the road. But all these dungeons, kind of the same thing with the raid, the clan bosses. These are all super important. They're relevant. They update it with the, you know, the hard levels and whatnot, which I haven't actually been pushed for hard. I just kind of got nice and comfy at the stage 25. I should be pushing to hard mode. Maybe that's what we got to start doing for the next few videos here. All this is relevant, also relevant as well because they feed into the fusion, so you got to do them anyways. And of course, they just kind of spread across all these important resources that makes them relevant, right? And they provide a decent amount of difficulty that you got to figure out. So again, big fan that they keep all their PvE content relevant, and they just updated Faction Wars recently, right? Doom Tower is always going through a cycle. Curse City, even though this boss is a pain in the butt, I appreciate that every rotation I've had since I've been doing Curse City, it's always a different set of characters I have to use. So again, makes me have to think outside the box, get creative. Whereas in Galaxy of Heroes, it's basically, I feel like their whole game is running on one game mode that they got right. Their PvE content and their other PvP content is basically stale and outdated. Raid does a good job keeping on top of that. Let's go back over to, we're gonna do two things. I'm losing track. I think this is thing number 7. Hopefully you guys are keeping track. I should have been calling out the numbers. Thing number 7 that I like. Now, this is another one of those things. If you're not on the other side of the pond, I know you would complain about this. I still see complaints about this. The mod cap and raid, so much better. I know you're gonna hate me for saying it, but this is coming from someone that's played all these games. You guys don't know how good you have it. And I know you guys still always want to increase it. It's at 1600. I'm always for more the merrier. But in Galaxy of Heroes, they have their own modding system, right? Let's go pull it up real quick. That came out in 2016, I believe. Yeah, 2016, yeah. Maybe 27. Oh, time's been flying. And they still haven't raised the mod cap, and the cap is at 500. The same mod cap when this feature came out, and they still haven't upped it. So this is why I say, you know what? All you people in raid, you don't know how good you have, and this just got raised recently, and I think not too far beyond that. So I just want to say this is a big thing right here. Big, and look at it. You have 2 separate mod caps for your artifacts. Yeah, I don't want to hear much complaining here about this. This is a huge deal. Of course, I hit the cap, and I got to. This is what I kind of say in Galaxy Heroes. You can give me a 10,000 mod cap. I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to stash up my inventory, and then I'm going to hit it, and then I have to delete stuff. So I play devil's advocate sometimes, but I'm so happy Raid has a bigger mod cap. And number 9 on this, since we're here, the variety of mods. Again, takes that theory crafting I love between all the different characters you can mix and match. Throw on mods. Your characters will perform so much different with a variety of different mod sets out there, going from like lethal to merciless, or then you have, for example, the perceptions, and this, again, you guys know it more than I do. Whereas again, you know, Galaxy of Heroes, you basically only have, let me see, where's my filter button? I'm not the manage, hold on, filter, there we go. You basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and realistically, 1, 2, it's basically 2 or 3 mod sets that are really important. Generally speed, offense, you know, sometimes health, you know, and then usually offense is more important than crit damage. But even if I could be generous, it's really like 4 mod sets. There's not a lot of variety in the characters, the theory crafting. It's all about speed. And of course, speed and raid's important, but they give you the variety of the mods to really change your characters. I appreciate that so much about this game. And the last thing, this one I'm going to put it on it for a very specific reason. This is also going to pop up maybe in a video down the road that might be connected to us. Live Arena. I'm happy that at least they have it, because in Galaxy Heroes, they look at Marvel Strike Force. They have a live arena of some sort. Raid Shadow Legends has a live arena of some sort. Galaxy of Heroes, people have been wanting a live arena. However, I will say, although I appreciate they have the option so you can, fight people in real time, right? That's what it is fine. The downside is, and this is speaking from experience here, like I'm always on top of my classic arena grind, right? Easy. Because I could do like 10 battles in like 5 minutes. Whereas to get even one battle going, it takes a bit of time. And as you can see, we're kind of slacking in live arena because it's just raid. It's all about getting in, do the battle, getting in, do the battle. Or is this, it's getting in. All right, you're going to take a minute picking a character. I feel like in the span of doing one live arena battle, I could do like 10 classic arena battles. So this is kind of something I've been trying to keep on top of. Usually the only reason I'm climbing live arena because I'm forcing myself to make videos. I got to force myself to make videos on this again. So that way we're climbing back up. But otherwise, it's a pro and con. I like that they have it. I wish they had a way to fight specific people. Like if you want to lobby up with someone, I think that'd be fun. Marvel Strike Force has something like that. But I'm happy they have the feature. It's just I think it could be better. I see people in Galaxy, they keep asking for a live arena. Marvel Strike Force people didn't quite like it. Doesn't seem like people quite like live arena. Better to have it than not have it. Like I don't feel like I'm being held back by not playing live arena, right? Like if I wasn't playing the clan boss, I'd be kind of held back, So, and this is what it goes to say. This could be a pro of itself. Some people like a more PvE focused game rather than PvP. I guess we'll have a bonus thing. Depends how you look at it. I'm more of a PvP guy. Like I love Grand Arena and Star Wars Galaxies. I wish Raid had that. We'll talk about that maybe another time. Spoiler. But I like that. I feel like in more or less, one could ignore Classic Arena, minus of course there's tournaments that require it. I just play some Classic Arena. But otherwise, it could be nice to people that PvP, you don't got to worry about that. The PvE experience is the core. And I think as well, it's kind of weird to say, I think that also has a broader appeal for this type of more mid-casual game, whatever you call it. I can't remember the exact terminology, what they call it. Like, it's not quite like super hardcore, mid-core. I think it's, mid-core is what I'm looking for. Mid-core type of game. So it depends how you look at it. But anyways, that's basically, I gave more than 10. Basically what I love about Raid Shadow Legends. I could talk a lot more, but those are things that kind of really stepped up on my kind of plate on what I want to share with you guys. But stay tuned. The next couple days, we'll talk about things that I hate about Raid Shadow Legends. But you know what? There's no reason to hate on my giveaway code. Just like I said, I love giveaway codes. And if you're a new player, use my link down below. Scan the QR code and you'll get Corrado right away. Ugo at level 10, Tagore at level 20, and Deacon Armstrong once you hit level 40. Thank you all so much for stopping by today. Let me know what you love about Raid Shadow Legends, or if you just want, you can go straight to what you hate about Raid Shadow Legends. But don't worry, people. We'll talk about that another time. And when we do, I need you to remember, until then, how it's great to be. Oh, thank you. In the Empire today.
It's great to be